Hello everybody and welcome to part number 1 of the Let's Build the Mega Size Gundam Unicorn RX-0. So, today we'll be working on the leg. As you can see here, this is a completed leg. I've already pre-measured it to be approximately a foot tall. It's a little bit less, but close enough to be a foot tall. And the pun was not intended there, but and really quickly here before we get too much more into this. This is the water slide decals that come with the Mega Size RX-0 here. This is actually the master grade, the full armor Gundam from Gundam Thunderbolt. There we go. So you can see the massive size difference in the two. Like, you can almost read all of it, all of what's on here. All the little words and stuff. Whereas this one, there's no chance in heck you're gonna read most of that. But anyways, just a really neat comparison there. And when you do get this kit, C1 and C2 are connected. Just like this. You actually have to separate them first with just either nippers, or you can probably separate them with a part separator. Now, mega sizes are really neat because they're the only kit that you get literally a tool that is meant for popping off parts. As you see there, I just did that without even using my nippers. Sure, there is a little bit of nubs that you can remove, but that's easy enough to do with any kind of hobby knife or wood carving knife. That's what this one is, meant for wood carving. So, or else you can go the traditional, cut them out twice and all that stuff, which is nice. Sorry, just dealing with my music as usual. Now, as always, if anything's a ×2, like the leg or arms or whatever, I will go ahead and do that first, and then I'll do the second time on camera for you guys, as I usually do for all my full builds. And make sure your cap is on these, as it does dry them out really quickly. As you can see here, I accidentally left this one out for a long time. One night, a long time ago. And now it's pretty well dead. I'm assuming that's because of all the ink got evaporated. Luckily I had a spare one. Let me just clear this stuff all off. Now, before we get started, I will tell you which runners, which is pretty well all of them, except for the PC7 also known as Polycap 7. The L runner. And the B runner. All the other runners you will use at one point or another during these sections. Now let me just get back to the start. There we go. And just as a note, all of this stuff on this first page here is actually instructions for the first step. So but it doesn't actually tell you to do anything for these two parts. As you can see, they are absolutely massive. So, but not that many snaps and pops and all that kind of stuff, which is unfortunate, because that's one of the fun parts about a perfect grade. Let me find this one. I have all the parts underneath you guys, so that's why I'm reaching over there a lot. Here's the Polycap 1. Polycaps seem to be a little bit stiffer. Actually, quite a bit stiffer than normal. But that could be because the temperature around here is getting lower. Literally, we're just putting the polycaps right into here with the two little tabs on either side. There's only one really way to put this in, so ow. Did I really? No, okay. Now a trick is that on the inside, just past the polycap, it actually has a number 3 on it, or a number 4, which is really handy for situations like this. So I literally just look here. I can see that 3 goes out front, 4 goes behind. There we go. Now we get to bring in our first big parts. Well, armor parts, because this doesn't really have much of an inner frame at all. Let me just look. So you'll be noticing a lot of polycap 1s on this first step. No, that wasn't a polycap. No, that's not a polycap. I swear I had more of them out. Here's one of them. So we'll put it right into let's use this toothpick. So the tab will be here and here. And that's the area where the polycap will go into. So I'm just literally lining it up, pushing it in. That's it. Let me really? Well, I guess that's why I have more right beside me. No, not that one. This is literally how I've been taking them out. So I'm just making sure this is number 1. And I'm just spinning them around a little bit. They fall right off. Now again, the tabs, line them up with these 2. There's a tab here and a tab here. Let me move this slide a little bit more that way. There we go. So there's a tab here and a tab here. They just line up with the areas that I showed you before. There you go. Now, should be the long way forward. Yes. So it's this longer area away from the peg towards this end over here. And you're just placing it right into the polycap. And you can see how nice that all... That's one of the things I was worried about is seam lines. Just in case, I do have my glue available. And different grits of sandpaper right beside me as well. So... Okay, so next we'll take this part and line it up with these pegs, these 2 holes. Slide it all the way in as far as it can go. Then this square peg fits onto the back here. There we go. And next, we actually got these 2. So this is the bottom of the foot. This is going to be the top. Careful when you're cutting out these dark blue parts, as they have a tendency of marking pretty easily. It's just the way that the plastic is. And this fits onto this back square part. Peg hole there. There we go. Now this is the time where you can make sure everything's level. Before I had it like that. And they are, each one of these pieces are on a notch joint kind of deal. So they stay pretty nicely. So next we'll take this part here, and with this very short little, the part that doesn't go quite all the way up to the flush up here, is the part that'll go up towards the gray peg up here. It just fits on just like that. Next, we will take this part right here and line it up with this one, this peg hole down there. Come on, there you go. And then all that we gotta do is, as soon as I find, oh yeah, sure, now, oh, now there's 2 there, okay. Now these ones are on half circle kind of joints. So you just kind of line it up, making sure that the half isn't, like, you can't put it on straight down like this, like you physically cannot. Has to be up a little bit. Now they literally have it way up here in the instruction manuals, and I'm just doing the same thing on the other side. There we go. So that is a foot. Here, let me bring in my little, this is my little SD. Super deformed Gundam unicorn. It's taller than the SD already. It would take about 5 of them in order to reach up to the top of just the leg. That gives you an idea of how big this kit will be. This is actually one of the biggest kits that they've ever made for a Gundam. I say Gundam there because they do have the final battle suit. I forget what its name is for the same series that has the Sinanju in it. And it's in a high grade form. And it's about 3 feet tall. No joke. So, yeah. That's why I say this is the biggest Gundam they have ever made. Now we get to take one of the. Let me make sure that I'm actually going in the right. Yes. So we'll grab this one here. Look for the right. So this polycap with its little grooves on the top and bottom. Just go in like this. Just like that up there. Let me find the right polycap. It's this one. No, that's a polycap 6, isn't it? Oh, that's exactly what we need. Okay. So this one, with one of the tabs on the top side here, slides right on into there, just like that. Next, we'll take the other half, just line everything up, and stick it together. Now, one thing I've found is that the polycaps don't like to sit in their proper spot sometimes. Let me just. So I literally grab my tweezers and I make sure the polycap is in its proper spot before I release the pressure fully. Sorry about that. So then there's this seam line here, but it will be covered up with a whole bunch of stuff, which is beautiful. And go by the instruction manuals, not by the instruction manual that you have in your head, as I have made a fatal mistake on that one, and I've almost paid a very high price for it. So when you're looking at it with this weird looking peg down here towards you, this big blank square goes towards it for this part. Or if you're looking at it from the front, there's a triangle right here that goes towards the front. Next, we flip it over. We'll put this right into there, right into that slot right there. Grab this thruster, stick it onto that weird peg looking peg. And we will grab this part and times 2 and this small polycap. This is a small polycap. Polycap, yeah. I can't really talk tonight. My brain's all over the place. Because as I'm recording it, it's actually Thanksgiving in Canada, so just got home. So for this one, make sure that this part that has mostly off the middle part here, that kind of looks like a boomerang, this kind of boomerang shape, is towards the back. And I put the polycap just in the hole right here, into this hole right here. So that's always towards the front. So the boomerang is at the back. And there's these 2 holes that line up with these 2 pegs. So now you see a polycap problem here. This part is not closing because the polycap isn't set right. So I just slide it back a little bit. There we go. Now it looks proper. Now there's these little gray parts here that'll go up top. Let me find the second one, as I have it all sitting right beside me here. Right, well, first of all, I'll put this part in its spot. Stick it to this one. Oh, that's a Providence Gundam. Okay. Probably a soon to come video. Don't know yet. Just depends on when I get the time. Another Gundam part that's not even part of this Gundam. Oh, there it is. On the stand for that same Gundam. So there's a deeper hole towards the bottom part here. Where's my pointing stick? There it is. So this is a deeper hole than up here. So looking at this from the side, this part is towards the bottom because it's a deeper part. And it just slots right on in. This one, just make sure that this kind of triangle-ish shaped part is towards the bottom, where the foot would be. Now we'll take this part right here that has this special notch for the peg in the square. That just sits right into there. And then actually this peg slots right into the polycap. That's right there. am I getting hiccups now? Alright, so this part here, I'll use these tweezers here. This is a little bit raised up, so this will be towards the leg itself, and this will be away. Or so on here, this square peg will fit right into there. There we go. So it'll look like that. Then this peg, these two pegs fit into this hole, and on this peg, just like that. Next, depending on which leg it is, this will always face towards the middle of the Gundam. So on, as you can see on this leg here, it faces towards the middle of the Gundam. So that means this will be looking from the back here. It's going to be his right leg. This is his left leg I'm working on right now. Why is that not? That's not sitting in properly. Let me try this first. So this will go around where the knee will attach to eventually here. Just like that. This should attach. There we go. It attached right onto a square peg right there. We'll put this aside for a moment. We'll take these two beautiful clear parts, line them up and put them together. Okay, that was a nice snap there. Now the order of this is important. So we want this part facing basically this way here. So then if you're looking at it straight on, it'll have a U kind of shape. Next we'll take this part, slide it in between and onto this big peg right here. So give this effect. And we can just stick this. There's a big peg hole here that lines up with this one. The little one goes up here into the little one. There we go. That's what it'll look like. That is actually the lower half done. Now this is a part where it tells you how to do a whole bunch of stuff. Put it away. So making sure that this little peg part is on the back half. This is going to be the back. The part with the hole up front is going to be the front. So this polycap will slide right up in there. And then we take the two joints for the knees as I knock over marker saw, the marker set. Whoa. Won't be needing that for a long time. I don't know if I'm actually going to be using it at all. But 2 more of these ones that fit right into that middle peg hole there. Come on. So look like that. Do the same thing for the other side. There we go. Well, and that's why it has it on the bottom. Okay. Just noticed I did a little error. Where's the part? There it is. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like there. This just slots right into here. And we close it up. Now, way back on the beginning page, it told you how to do this. But with, again, the peg towards the middle of the part, it'll fit right into this slot here. So, just like that. And we can actually close this part up completely. Doesn't really tell you that all that well, but you can close it up completely. I guess they assumed that you took both of the C1 plates, because as you can see here on the back, they're very flat. They're actually supposed to stick together. But if you did it like me and cut them out, then you don't really have them apart. Then you don't really have them together already. So next, we will take this part, stick it right through the hole. Let's take this other part and stick it right through the other side of the hole. Just like that. Now we come over to where we have this. So, let me see here. This part right here is going to be the spot for the knee. So sometimes it takes a little fiddling, or sometimes you get it on the first try. This is going to be other side. There we go. So that's what it's going to look like. Let's take this other half, stick it on all together just like that. And then there's a whole bunch of clear pink parts that you just kind of have to just line them up like a puzzle. So that goes there. This one goes over here on this side. Just like that. This one just goes over here. And the last one. Go right there. There we go. finally, we take this part and however it wants to go in, it goes in. So next we'll take this and line it up with... I completely did that again. There was a step where you're supposed to put a polycap in, but I completely forgot to do that step. Okay, now you get to see the part separator. Because now I gotta take this off. Sometimes you just gotta work them off of one another. Being a little bit careful not to break it. There we go. Now this is the real reason why you got a part separator, is to get it just starts everything separating. There we go. Let me see if I actually have one of those. Doesn't look like I have one out, so let me grab it. So this time with the wings to the side, I'll just fit into there. Now it goes on to here. And now those two go on. And this can fit on. This can go right on. So just like that. Now with this part facing forward towards the rest of the knee there, there's a big hole at the top that this just slides right on into. Then this whole assembly sticks onto the foot, and this part goes right into the top. Also make sure that you have it the right way around. So there's the two legs. Right there. 1 foot each. That is probably about half to a quarter of the size. It's already pretty well as big as my Strike Rogue here. So, or bigger than my Strike Rogue. So this kit is going to be absolutely massive. So, if you're new here and you want to see more of videos like this, or when I finally get this behemoth of a Gundam put together, and for the final build, hit that subscription button. It'll let you know when I put out more videos for this, or my Strike Rogue, which I think is finished now. Not quite sure. But there'll be a playlist on that. And also on this, if you miss any other parts, like the unboxing right now. The next part is going to be the waist unit. So hit that like button if you're excited for that, or to see this behemoth of a Gundam finished. And until next time, remember to rock on.